Gonzo tonight is like a record show. Did you know that?
It's our record show.
It's a record show.
What's the record?
This is probably the most positive shows we've ever done in a consecutive row. It's got to be. It's basically more than 3.
You don't know. Well, you don't know what I'm going to say yet.
Yes, well, I'm quite positive. It's going to be positive, right? You feeling positive?
Yeah, yeah. How can you not be? You know, there's so much historically, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, to whinge about at West Ham. It's nice to not have anything to moan about. I've had a couple of people contact me actually, and with sort of whiny sort of things about West Ham and about Pellegrini and this, that, and the other. I just thought, well, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion, of course, but we can't be happy now, particularly before we face Liverpool, where it could all go. This is the time to be happy. That's what I'm saying.
Talk about positivity. We've got some positivity for the viewers, and that is if you want to come to the boats next season, their season tickets are up for sale. But not only that, we've slashed the prices. Whatcha? Record spend at West Ham, but no record spend on the boats next season. You don't need to be doing that. £60 for the whole season if you want to join us. You just email us, hammerschat@gmail.com, £60 for an adult, and the kids go free all season next season. Doesn't matter what game it is, kids do not pay anything. So you can email us if you want a season ticket, and we will reply with details on how to get it, and hopefully we'll see some of you there for the Bournemouth game. But Gonzo, talk about spending 94 million was spent. I wish it was 100 just for the clickbait for the video, actually. I might just change it, to be honest.
Just lie. Geo, you wouldn't be the first person that lied on a video title to attract a few extra viewers, if you know what I'm saying.
If I add Jack Wilshere and Fredericks' agent fees and sign-on fees, it might reach hundreds. I might just include that. You mislead everybody. It doesn't matter.
And free money.
win £1,000.
Exclusive highlights, free money. West Ham spend £1 billion. It can't go wrong.
And HD.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right, well, Anderson's done and Balbuena's done. That's happened since we last did it. And you went to Adams Park as well. So overall, you happy with the transfers? Happy with what you see on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, Saturday was it was still a training exercise, you know. So I'm expecting, you know, the other ones. We got Aston Villa, we got Ipswich, one other, I think, possibly. You'd know, wouldn't you?
Preston.
Yeah, there you go. So I think probably we'll see a little bit more of the team. I do think it was an exercise in fitness. I don't think it was hard to really gauge what he was planning to do. But as I said before, I do think looked like he was trying to do something with Ogbonna and Diop. I've got an inkling that will be the starting partnership. But yeah, I mean, in terms of transfers, how can you not be? These are really, really good times for West Ham. I've had a few people. I not been downbeat, but a few people with questions whether Anderson was the right signing. When I say a few people, I mean comments on the videos. We've done a couple of videos where we've spoken about Anderson, and they've generally been people from other clubs who have said, "Oh, Anderson, he's rubbish. He was a flop at Lazio, and he didn't play every game, and this, that, and the other." And the trouble is, I've always said this, we've got to take a punt on those guys, and unfortunately, a punt on someone like that is around 40 million. These days, the consistent guys, the guys who did the World Cup or, you know, whatever for Man City, like De Bruyne or David Silva, people like that, you're just not going to get them. They cost over 100 million. So what? He's been a little bit inconsistent. At West Ham, that is absolutely fine. And I do think Pellegrini will get the best out of him. And he's the guy that Pellegrini wants. The transfer business is great. And Yarmolenko looks really good as well. It's positive, mate. We spent enough time whinging. It's positive.
That's the main thing for me. It's Pellegrini's #1 target. It doesn't matter who it was. It could have been a keeper, it could have been a striker, it could have been a centre midfielder. It doesn't matter. If Pellegrini wanted him, I think that is what the most important thing is. I'm surprised, actually, even though we knew it was coming at the end of the week, we all knew he was on his way, he was in London, etc. There's a bit of me that still can't believe we spent 94 million. Now, I know Sullivan's away to try and sell a couple of players, get money back. And to be fair, that's fine because nobody expected us to have £90 million net spend this summer. It just wasn't something it's probably just not feasible anyway. But even when it was confirmed, it was a bit like, bloody hell, Sullivan's actually gone and got someone that was, 15 million over our record signing already. That record signing was earlier than the summer as well. That's what made it even more unbelievable. But I don't know Anderson. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I'm looking forward to seeing what Pellegrini's got up his sleeve. But the difference is this summer, with as far as I've been into football and understood football, if you like, is the amount of trust in Pellegrini. Everybody the fans just trust him. He could probably go sign Benny McCarthy tomorrow, and some fans would probably say, he's obviously got a plan for him, Pellegrini, we have to trust and stuff. It doesn't matter. It's the important thing is Pellegrini's getting his players. The average age of the players we're signing is 26 as well. That's the average age of the 7 signings we made so far. That's important. That's the right age for your squad, if you like. France won the World Cup with, they had the youngest squad in the knockouts anyway. Their average age was about 25. England had the next youngest in the knockouts and stuff, and they did all right. So it's good to see now that we're trying to go for younger players that can increase their value while at West Ham, rather than us being on the losing side of it all the time. That's positive. It's not stopped the transfer rumours, though, Gonzo. We're still being linked with defenders. I don't even know who, to be honest. The only one I recognise is Vida from Croatia, the centre-back with the shaven hair with the ponytail. It's surely now it's all about journalists just making stuff up to try and sell a few articles.
Well, I totally agree. And obviously the most pivotal point about all of this is not only do we get the players in and got the players that we wanted, we've done it early. So they get a chance to play these games against Preston, as you said, and Aston Villa and Ipswich. We're not bringing somebody in a couple of days before the deadline, and I don't think we will. I really don't, unless a loan thing happens. It may well do, and that's really pivotal for us. I do agree with what you say. I think the papers are just making it up, because if Pellegrini was going to insist on all these players coming and getting the business done early, which he pretty much did. I mean, it started happening the moment he come back from Chile and the director of football officially started. So I don't see why he would suddenly allow for a late arrival. He clearly wants it all done early, clearly wants it done quickly. He's got that done. I don't think he needs another defender. We don't know what this Balbuena is any good. We don't know anything about him. But as you said earlier, it's somebody that Pellegrini wants. Bit of squad padding. Obviously, we've lost James Collins. Reece Burke has gone as well. Winston Reid has had an unfortunate injury. So I can't see another one coming in, not with Declan Rice there as well, and Reece Oxford still at the club, although the rumour's gone on today. So yeah, all in all, mate, I think anything else that comes up is probably made up, unless it's a loan signing or something.
Yeah, loan signings and freebies are the only ones I would pay attention to. Anything that costs more than £1, I wouldn't bother looking at, really, unless we sell players. But we'd have to sell 4 or 5, I think, before we even start spending money, because the next 20 million that we bring in is basically to balance the books. It's not for Pellegrini's spending chest, if you like. One player that we have been linked to, which is reasonably interesting, is Danny Welbeck. Could be on his way out of Arsenal on loan. He's got 2 years left at the Emirates to go, so I think he's got 2 years loan this year, and then they'll try and flog him in the summer. Would he tick a few boxes for you, or would you just not touch him?
I don't think we're good enough not to touch Danny Welbeck. I thought he was fortunate to go with the England squads, and did he play? I don't think he played. So he's been unlucky with injury at Arsenal. I think they signed him with 16 million from Man U, if I remember rightly. But we are still West Ham, and Danny Welbeck, whilst I don't think he would start, I don't think he would be an addition to the squads. I think he can play wide, can't he? Or he can play up front as well. And he works really hard as well. He's industrious. He's fairly quick. His technique is sound enough. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if we got Danny Welbeck. As I say, we're not that good yet.
It's a no risk signing, to be honest with you. If we loan him and it doesn't work out, we send him back. It's a bit like the Joe Hart one. If it doesn't work out, you send him back. It's a player that's just not quite good enough for the top 6 anymore, but he's good enough for the Premier League, etc. I think it would be stupid. I've seen some people say they don't want Danny Welbeck. I think that's just getting too ahead of ourselves. But like you, we are West Ham. Whose squad position would he take in the squad currently? Hugo. That is exactly the point. This is what you're now trying to do. You're trying to improve your bench, and that's what he would do. He's versatile, as you've said. That's important when it comes to naming your 25-man squad. That's important when you're looking at your bench on Saturday. You need to try and change your game. You've got someone that can play multiple positions, and he would reasonably fit the way Pellegrini plays. He's played football on the deck his whole career. He's used to playing proper football, not this launch up stuff that we've seen recently. And he works hard, but he also drifts wide as well. That's how Pellegrini likes strikers to have movement. Welbeck's got movement. So it's a no-brainer for me. If he is available for loan, I think we should be going all out to get him in. It's just No risk whatsoever, in my opinion. But speaking about someone that can play up front and on the wing, but it's our player Gonzo, the Arnautovic rumours are back, linking him to, well, first of all, it was suggested he was offered to Roma, but it's come about that he's open to a move. But then again, isn't every player in the world open to a move?
I guess so. Everybody has their price, don't they? It was a ridiculous back and forth on Twitter about it yesterday, which was pure David Brent, pure comedy. And I didn't believe. Do you know what? I don't think whether I didn't believe it or I didn't want to believe it, but I almost wasn't interested. You asked about the Wickham game. He seemed to be playing. He played up front, linked well with Noble, as you'd expect. With Yarmolenko, I just can't see it. I think players like him would want to play for Pellegrini. We hear that maybe his brother, who is his agent, is causing a bit of mischief. Well, that's what agents do, and that's what brothers do. So I just think there's a lot less in the story than the papers would have us believe. I'm sure he's going to want to play with Anderson and Yarmolenko and Jack Wilshere, who I think is hopefully, I would imagine, would probably be our best signing, if you like, in terms of hitting the ground running. Why would he want to go to Roma? Yes, I understand it, but I don't think they'd be interested. He's 29 now. I just can't see it.
This is going to be a bit iffy with some West Ham fans. I don't think he's good enough for a top 6 club. I don't think he's on the same level as Sadio Mane, etc. at Liverpool. He's definitely not good enough for City. Even at Man U, if I was a Man U fan, I'd rather see Rashford or Martial than Marko Arnautovic, because at the end of the day, like you said, one of them is 29 years old. There is some clubs you can make a case he could get into, maybe the Chelsea squad, for example, but then that is a left winger. Would he replace Hazard? No. Arsenal, you certainly wouldn't play up front ahead of Lacazette, etc. So I'm not sure he's good enough for a top 6. So then you come away from the top 6, and we are one of the best clubs there is to join right now. There's 3 or 4 of us in the same category. Everton and Leicester are probably the other 2 that springs to mind. What's the point of going to one of those? It's just sideways. You're not going to get more money there at West Ham. We are the best club for him in England. If he goes to a top 6, he's going to be a bench player, in my opinion. He will get starts, but he won't get started every week like he will at West Ham. His position at West Ham is not under threat either. If he wants to play up front, he's playing up front. It's as simple as that. He's got nothing to prove. He's done it last year. He's already repaid his transfer fee almost. He's justified why we paid 25 million for him. Going abroad, I just don't see it. I don't see why. I don't see anything in this at all. If there is anything, it's him trying to get a new deal. It's his agent, his brother, trying to make sure that his brother is looked after and cashing in on what was a successful season, realising how important Arnautovic is at West Ham, thinking, well, we chuck out some stories, he might get an extra 20 grand a week or something thrown at him to keep him here. All you have to do is go look at what we did with Payet, etc. So we've always done it. We've always rewarded, under Sullivan in goal, we've always rewarded players for an excellent season. Arnautovic has had one. I don't really blame his agent for looking at it going, well, where's his reward? I don't agree with it, especially when he's on such a long-term deal in his age, etc. But that's just the world we're in these days with football agents. I'm paying no attention whatsoever to these rumours, unless a big club does come in, but it's going to take a hefty fee. It would cost them at least 50 million to get him out of the club. And to be honest, even if that happened, I wouldn't worry, Gonzo. I'd be quite confident Pellegrini would spend that 50 million wisely. I'm not that scared about losing Arnautovic for some strange reason. It doesn't really faze me. And I remember when we spoke about this at the start of the summer, you were a bit more worried than I was. Have you changed now, considering what you've just seen in the transfer window?
What about Arnautovic leaving?
If he did leave.
No, not as worried, but I do think he's a big part of our plans. I mean, but I wouldn't want to see him offered a new deal either, because you can't just offer more money. The rules are that with every wage increase, you have to put at least an additional year on. Now, if we did that, then it might take him up to 35 or so. What do we do? Stick 125 grand a week until he's 35? I just don't think so. I don't think that's a wise thing to do. I think he signed the contract, and at his age, it's something that he needs to honour. I'm sure he's on very, very good wages. I don't know what he's on, 70, 75 grand a week or something like that.
It's about 100, I think. Him, Anderson and Hernandez, I think, are all on 100 grand a week.
Well, he can thank his, not thank his lucky stars. He's earned it and he deserves it. But he was playing at Stoke not too long ago and not getting very much money. So am I bothered, though, to your question, would I be bothered if we lost him? Yes, I would be bothered. I do think he's a big thing. I think he is going to thrive because I think it gives not just technique and finishing and skill. I think he also gives strength, as you saw with a goal in the friendly. He's got that about him as well. So, yeah, I would rather not. But I'm like you. I would be confident that Pellegrini would have somebody in his little black book who he'd probably earmark to fill that position, as every manager should. Every manager should have that. Every manager should be thinking, oh, if my left winger goes, I'm going to get this guy. If my goalkeeper goes, I'm getting this guy. You should have 4 or 5 players earmarked for every position should the worst happen. But the only thing that is the worry is our window closes and then Europe are allowed to buy our players for another couple of weeks afterwards. But I don't think they're that silly, the owners. They're not that silly to leave us without him and do all this stuff and then start selling players. Otherwise, it all just starts up again. All the nastiness starts up again.
I don't think they would do that either. I think 1 or 2 fringe players might leave, but nobody overly important. What I will say about this Anavic thing, it's made me realise that before the last few years, players have always been more important than the manager. I think this is the first summer I've actually felt the manager is actually the most important person at the football club. Before, a year ago, I would rather Bilic had left than Lanzini, for example, and the year before that, I would rather Bilic left than Payet. So, but this is the first year I actually would prefer any player to leave before Pellegrini left, and that's a big thing, and that's why I'm quite relaxed a little bit with all these rumours about players going, because as long as we've got the manager, I'm reasonably confident he will put the jigsaw together. Whatever pieces he's got for his jigsaw, I'm confident he'll put it together and give us something to look forward to. But speaking about our manager, he demanded changes at the training ground this week. Did you see that? To be fair, when I say changes, we're even like, he's not demanding a lot, is he? He's just demanding what should already be there. AstroTurf instead of like slippy flooring, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. He wanted some hot running water and stuff, didn't they? I was very, very pleased with that. I was going to say overjoyed, but maybe overjoyed would be stretching it. I was very pleased to see that, to see him taking a club by the scruff of the neck and saying, actually, this is not acceptable. I expect better. I want my players better, on better facilities. You know, they've brought in a manager for whatever, but whoever you believe, between 7 and 10 million pounds a year, and you can't expect him to operate in the way that you want him to if he feels the training facilities are substandard. Now, the training facilities they're just very small. They're very quaint. I've been there, and yes, the gym is small, the canteen is small. I was gobsmacked to hear that the ladies had gone, particularly as we have Chadwell Heath as well. And once I knew there was a whole other team there as well, other squad, I mean, well, wow, that is far too small. It's far too small. It was cozy with just the first team in there. I think there's only really 4 pitches there, plus you've got the main one, which is like a bit of a stadium sort of thing. There's a little stand in it. And then you've got some other grassed areas. But it's not a huge complex, and certainly I do feel bigger changing facilities. If he wants a hydration chamber, if he wants undersoil heating, and he wants all that stuff, then rightly so. And I just love the fact he seems to have the owners running scared to say, oh yes boss, whatever you want, new players, yeah, cool, no problem, undersoil heating, don't worry about it, we'll get it all for you. And I like that, and I like the fact that he is driving the club forward rather than just sitting there taking his money and just sitting back. I think he's almost earning his money, as part of that. He's going to help drive us forward, and we need it.
I have to say, I was a bit surprised we don't have undersoil heating at the training ground already. I just assumed that was a thing. What do they do in the winter? Like, do you know when it's like snowing? They don't cover it up and then uncover it in the morning, do they?
No, but at Chadwell Heath, we've got the
indoor thing.
Yeah. So I think that's what they do. I think they go to Chadwell. They go to from Rush Green to Chadwell Heath instead. It's typical. It's not typical. It's typical how the owners have behaved up to now, which is why would we pay for undersoil heating when we've got a nice pitch inside a warehouse that they can go into, that doesn't get frosted over. So I think that's their thinking. But I think Pellegrini's come and said, no, I'm not taking a team that has cost whatever 150 million to assemble and taking them to train in a warehouse away from the training ground. It's unnecessary. He wants the best for his players. I love it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Pellegrini is making these changes. It also it also gives an indication Pellegrini is thinking long term here. That Pellegrini himself has got a vision for what he wants to do at West Ham, and he said, "Well, to do this, I need changes at the training ground." Because if you were like Moyes, if you were here short term, you wouldn't really care if your training ground had under soil heating or not. You only really give a damn if you're planning on being here the long term. And some of the changes I've seen that he wanted, it's just basic. He wanted improvements in the canteen. I mean, what? Like, how bad is it just now that he's got to request changes in the canteen? What could you possibly be doing that's made the manager come in and go, hang on, this is not right. We need changes here. It's just, I don't know, but it's good to see Pellegrini making his stamp. It's also good to see the owners backing him, assuming he gets these changes. Well, he's demanded them. I don't think it's necessarily been said if it's going to go ahead, but if it is, then good. But it makes you wonder why we've not done this previously. I mean, why is it taking Pellegrini to come in and say, "Oh, this ain't right," before someone's going, "Actually, he's right"? But remember in the summer, the club put up pictures of all the players getting a medical thing checked when they come back. And Creswell was on a bed and there was a towel on the window with plaster sticking up because they didn't have a curtain or a blind. The club don't help themselves sometimes a little bit. They leave them open. Well, give me the gun and give me the bullet because I'm having a shot at them.
Blinds are expensive, mate. You know, I actually just bought one. Cost a bomb.
Well, West Ham obviously don't want blinds at all, unless. But anyway, next on, players leaving the training ground. Antonio, this boomer isn't sticking around, Gonzo. It's not going away. It's the same club, Crystal Palace, who apparently are quite skint. Your best friend's a Palace fan, you might know, but apparently Crystal Palace just don't have money this summer to spend, which doesn't surprise me because they have been splashing the cash the last couple of years in order to survive. So it looks like it's coming back to haunt them a little bit. They've done the opposite of us. We saved our cash and now we're spending it, and they've been spending it, and now they're stuck a little bit.
Yeah, well, they certainly have had a good old spend up, haven't they? No inside information on Crystal Palace, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, he's taken a sabbatical for the summer, and he's into his cycling and drinking gin, but not at the same time. So he doesn't know what's going on, but I do believe they are a little bit skint. Don't forget they've got the plans for this new stadium in as well, which they want to build this wonderful 35,000 seat stadium, which is the right size stadium for Crystal Palace, and it looks like it's gonna be really, really nice as well. So there's obviously that doesn't pay for itself. It's pivotal for them to stay in the Premier League, and I think Antonio ticks a lot of boxes, but I don't want to lose him. As I said before, I'd rather not. I just hope that, because I do, particularly with Carroll going, I just think, you know, you look at that bench, and if you can have a bench, I understand Obiang wants to stay as well. And if you actually have players like that, and you spoke about Welbeck earlier, and people on the bench that can cover a couple of positions, that's what you want, a strong bench. You want to put out his first team, and you want to say, hold on, we need to change the game. There you go. Look, there's Michail Antonio on there. We can bring him on in a number of positions. We need to shore it up. There's Balbuena there on the bench. You just want a load of good things. And I wouldn't want to see him go before he's had a chance to show Pellegrini what he can do.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one because part of me remembers how good he can be and thinks, well, we need to unearth that. But the one criticism everybody's got of Antonio, and rightly so, is the fact that he's not that good with the ball at his feet. And that's what concerns me, because I think, well, how are you going to fit in Pellegrini's plans? Like, I just don't see it. I think I can understand why Pellegrini would sell him. He's probably looking at him, and it's no coincidence that other players being earmarked to leave as Chiati. Pellegrini's been watching the videos, and he's probably going, well, you two are the two people that just can't pass. You're the ones that can't keep the ball, play one-touch football, two-touch football, etc. They're the two prime candidates in our first 11 that just can't do it. They're just not able to do it as good as the rest of them. They are the weak links when it comes to passing. But the other thing Pellegrini's got to consider is, if he's got to get 20 million, how does he do that? Antonio is one sale. If he sells Snodgrass for 10, he's still got to sell another 10 million pound worth of talent. Now, Hugo, that's 5 million. Say he's still got to go sell another. He's got to sell 3 squad players to get his 20 million. Whereas Antonio means it's just one sale. He gets his 20 million in, and when everyone's fit, he's not going to be starting, is he? And you've got Anderson and Yarmolenko now. He's not going to be starting ahead of those two. But on the other hand, like you said, he is versatile, he's strong, and sometimes, while passing is all right, you do need something a bit different. And Antonio does give it a bit different. In his first year up to Park, the one thing we did love was he used to produce the unexpected. I think he didn't know what he was going to do half the time. He just used to run up at a defender and go past him, shoot, he'd be at the back post, 10 or whatever. And that sort of unknown quantity works. It goes back to what you were saying a few times. Give the opposition something to think about. Well, Antonio does that because you just don't know what he's going to do, and he's got a lot of strengths in different areas, just not passing, and that's what concerns me, and that's why I can understand. But can you understand why you would sell Antonio? If Pellegrini's got to get 20 million, say.
I don't think he cares, Gio. I don't think he cares. I think it's like this training ground thing. I reckon he said, "Yeah, look, Mr. Chairman, you sort out the overdraft. We'll get all the guys. Let me get the guys in, then I'll work out who we can sell." I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and turns around and says, "Oh, I'm not an accountant. I mean, I don't want to. I've had a look at him. Now I want to keep him." I think he's almost forcing. It's like being dragged, kicking and screaming over hot coals. He's forcing the chairman to spend money. He's forcing the chairman to upgrade the facilities. I would not surprise me at all if it gets to it. And do you know what? OBA might have been earmarked to be one that might be sold. Antonio the same, and maybe 2 or 3, 4, 5 players who actually turns around and goes, "You know what? I don't want to sell them anymore. That's your problem. It's your overdraft. You're a billionaire. You deal with it." That would not surprise me at all. Not at all.
Surely that's a bigger problem then. If Sullivan then thinks, well, that's fine, but I've got to sell £20 million worth of talent. If you're not going to nominate me someone, then what does that mean? Fair game?
It'd be interesting. It would be an interesting dynamic. I don't think he would. I just still don't think Sullivan would do it. I really don't. Bearing in mind how much they have loaned to the club in the past, and they've had their 7% back, as you know, and all the rest of it. This is now an overdraft that they have, which they are. What's it called? They are guaranteed. When they have a guarantor, they're guarantoring that. I don't think he would. I don't think he would pull the rug out. He'd probably just think, you know what, I'm going to guarantor it and just pay it. If he need be, he'd pay it off. He'd turn it into a loan, and then we'd end up paying that back, like with 7%, like we've been paying the other stuff back. I don't think he's stupid enough to pay someone that much money and then pull the rug out from under his feet and take a player away from him that he feels he wants. Sullivan's going to want. Sullivan has taken a stick. He is going to want to bask in the glory. Now he is going to want to. He's going to sit tight. And he's hope the team that have done well, and when the plaudits have come in, and when everyone is hopefully in a better mood, and hopefully we get halfway through the season and actually we're quite comfortable mid-table and playing some nice football, maybe still in a cup or something. At that point, Sullivan's going to want to take some of the glory, and I just don't think he's going to pull the rug out from underneath his manager's feet.
I think we're going to have to sell players. I can't see us finishing the summer on a £90 million net spend. I think there's players leaving. Byram's just not appealing to anyone. The links to Byram are loan deals. Same with Hugo. Same with Snodgrass has even been linked with a loan deal. Nobody just wants him. That's why I just think the Antonio thing's got legs. He's probably in terms of like what you can get for what you're selling. He's probably the one that sits well. And when I did a transfer show on Friday night with Mike and Bez, Mike made a good point that for once, going into the last 2 or 3 days of the window, we can sit there with our purchases done. And all the other clubs are a bit desperate. We're going to be running around paying 25% extra for players. We're sitting there with the players thinking, well, who wants Mikel Antonio for next season? He was 20 million. He's now 25 million. And then you've got these clubs who have got 2 days to go sitting there thinking, well, we do need a winger, unfortunately, because the European clubs, they're not under pressure to sell now. They've still got another 2 weeks after us to sell their players. They're fine. They're chill. They're relaxed. They've got zero pressure to sell their players. The Premier League is the only clubs. England's the only country that'll be under pressure to sell players, and we're the only country under pressure to buy players at the same time. So it would be clever for Sullivan just to wait till 2 days to go of the transfer window before sort of leaking that Antonio's up for sale, Byram's up for sale, Snodgrass is up for sale, and just saying who comes for these players, because people will get desperate. And for once, we are sitting in the position where we can take advantage of this desperation, and we're not one of those scratching around paying £9 million for a striker from Preston North End on deadline day because we need to do something just to keep the fans a little bit quiet. We are now in the position of Preston North End for saying, here, do you want Jordan Hugo? He's £9 million. He's not very good, but you can't have him for £9 million.
Yeah, they played a blind already, didn't they, Preston? Well, listen, transfer deadline day is going to be very, very interesting from that point of view. I do think there'll be a loan or two in, but yeah, it's going to be the outgoings that make things a little bit interesting. But as I say, for me, Antonio, out of all of them that have been rumoured to leave, I'd like to keep. Snodgrass, yeah. I mean, the only thing I'd say is in that friendly, Snodgrass was taking a lot of set plays. And I do often wonder, I'd like to see the other friendlies before I decide. But on what I've seen so far, I just find that strange. Normally give you set plays to someone that you like, you're going to rely on and stuff like that. I'm not sure you get too far into the set play routines and rehearsing free kicks and corners with somebody you're planning on flogging. That'd be my only observation on that one.
He's not going to be starting him, Phil, is he? Like, he's not going to
No, but it's just I'm just saying what I saw. I think Cardiff's a good fit for Snodgrass. I really do.
Just playing devil's advocate, why would you then get who's going to be on the bench to practice all your set plays and stuff?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's the guy that's been doing them. I just found it a strange thing to do to have him, and he played both halves in that friendly as well when he was swapping other people in and out. You know, I'm just saying I just found it. He seemed to be a pivotal part. He played both halves, and he was taking all the set plays that I saw. I mean, it's it certainly got my attention.
Short window here. Pellegrini is currently dressing his mannequin of Snodgrass and placing him right there for you. That's probably the best thing to do, isn't it? So if anyone is looking at it, they turn up and say, "Oh, he can deliver a good set piece, can't he? Oh, he's obviously a bit important at West Ham, blah, blah." You've got to make him appealing by not playing him in the friendlies. Certainly does the complete opposite of that. Obiang, as you mentioned, he's been linked with away. The one rumour, though, was a bit strange. It was a bit of a crap offer. Someone wanted him for a loan for £1 million, and then at the end of the season, we're going to pay $9 million. I mean, there's bullshit, and then there's just taking a complete and utter piss.
Yeah, I mean, we bought him for 5, so I mean that the profit may well appeal, but by all accounts, we don't have to. The money's. The Premier League is awash with money. Premier League teams don't need to let someone go to do someone a favour for £1 million. It's quite, unless you get relegated or something like that, you can keep people like that on, as has been rumoured. But I'm saying it for ages, FIFA fair play is there for when people want to pay any notice to it. Otherwise, they don't. It's not a lot of legally binding thing. No one has been docked points or anything like that. So clubs can do what they want. So if a club wants to, a club can turn down £1 million low fee. They don't have to, and particularly for somebody who, again, we don't know. Pellegrini might like him. He might like him. He seems. We had Obiang, Cullen, and Noble in the middle. Looks all right. They were passing it around. They were all passing it around, all three of them. So Pellegrini might think, actually, there you go. For all the reasons you said, you know, that all the things Antonio can't do. I think he might look at Obiang and think, you know what, he can pass, he can move, he can tackle, he can run around a bit. Actually, I can work with this guy again off the bench. Imagine all those players that were previously in our first team being on the bench and just having such a strong bench to come and be really good.
I wouldn't be surprised if he starts at Anfield as a defensive midfielder. We've been talking about either Pellegrini's had a word with him or Obiang spotted an opportunity because he's come out and basically said he wants to be the defensive midfielder. Which is a very clever move by Obiang by sort of claiming that position as his by saying, well, I'm going for that position, please. It does make you wonder if Pellegrini's told him this is where I want you to be playing, etc. And he's going, okay, then. So then when he does speak about it, he speaks about that position. It would intrigue me to see Obiang as the defensive midfielder. It wouldn't, if he's a bit more disciplined, if he's got that shackle on him and says, you do not cross that halfway line. If you do, it's 5 yards and that's it. You do not go in that final third. You stay where you are and you screen that back for. It does make you wonder if Pellegrini can work with him because, as you said, he does have passing. He's got the physique. He's definitely got the physique as well. He's got the passing range. There's definitely potential there for him to become a defensive midfielder. So that's an interesting move. We might explain why we're not bothering to go after one. The other player that's been linked with a move away is today. Who's on Clarendon Hugh and exclusive on Clarendon Hugh. Reece Oxford, 10 million is the price tag. Someone stumps up 10 million. Reece is off. As you all know from previous shows, this thing has actually pissed me off a bit today. I really don't want to sell him, but it's also the way that a lot of people don't mind selling him. That's annoyed me because he's 19. He's 19 years old. We've nowhere seen enough of Reece Oxford to decide yet. And I just think it would be a massive mistake if we sold him, especially something like 10 million, and he went somewhere and had one good season. He's 30 million, just like that. One good season, and he's a £30 million player. English, 20 years old, he's 30 million, at least.
Yeah, interesting tactics. You popping that Malteser in your mouth in the middle of your dialogue rather than when I was talking. You should be
I've been eating and you've been talking, but it was melting on my fingers, so I had to get rid of it.
All right. I noticed you must have eaten all because I noticed you died for the Highland Spring then as well. Obviously the honeycomb, it's a bit dry, isn't it? But once you crunch through that chocolate or that melted chocolate, it's pretty dry.
I've been trying to visit. They've been on my desk, okay, and I've been trying to visit them. I couldn't resist them anymore. The back has split open on its own. I promise you.
Oh, did it? Oh, bless it. Yeah.
It split open on its own. Honestly, it parted like our defence last season. Someone just looked at it and it just opened up and everything just went through. Just like our defence last season. That's what happened in my bag. So they don't go to waste. I've decided I'll eat them during the show. I bet there's someone watching this eating right now, so they can eat. I'll join them and I'll eat as well.
Yeah, well, you eat away. You eat away while my Galaxy is in the fridge. I'll talk about Reece Oxford. I wasn't shocked to see it because I know players are going to go, but I think I was probably shocked to see that it was probably him that was earmarked. I thought he would be one of the ones, as I know you do as well, that would probably be appealing to Pellegrini. Plays the ball out well from the back. I made the observation that I thought he'd improved physically slightly as well. And when he came on, he looked big. He looked to the man of ball, but he was certainly, there was a separate group that were training, a group of youngsters, and he was very much with them. There were 3 separate groups training, almost seasoned professionals, if you like. Other players, sort of younger players, but still first team players, and then the youngsters, they're basically the under 23s, and he was very much with them. Now Rice wasn't. Rice was in the middle group, but he did come on. Diop got a knock towards the end of the game, and he came on. He formed a defensive partnership with Declan Rice, which certainly indicated that maybe he was the last choice of Pellegrini to play there. We're reading far too much into pre-season friendlies, by the way, but at the moment that's all we've got to go on. When we've done all 5, then we'll know an awful lot more. But I do agree that 10 million does seem sort of derisory sum, but I don't think we're going to get much more for him, particularly as after what happened when we recalled him, didn't really use him, then he went back and didn't really shine again. They do seem to be hoovering up. Germany do seem to be hoovering up young English talent as well, as much as they possibly can. So I can see it. I think that story may well have legs on it. I can see that one being true, certainly.
Last season was mismanagement. I do not blame Reece Oxford at all. He got put out on loan to Germany. He went there. He knuckled down. He finally got into the first team. He grafted to get in the first team. And as soon as he was there, 2 appearances, 3 appearances, we loaned him back and put him on the bench in a cup game. We took him back, when he didn't want to, put him on the bench for a cup game, left him till the end of January, then sent him back out, and then he had to do it all over again. That was complete balls up by West Ham. We hindered that boy's season massively because he might have stayed in that first team. He might be worth 30 million this summer if we left him there and he had a really good end to the season. There might be bigger clubs than us. We might be looking at him going, oh, look what we've got in our hands now. We've got this 19-year-old guy coming back, 30 appearances under his belt over in Germany. He's played really well, excellent. But we don't know. Why? Because we needed him on the bench for Wigan, I think it was, in the Cup. Ridiculous mismanagement by West Ham. But he probably is worth 10 million today. That's probably all he's worth. But my worry is, in a year's time, he could be worth treble that for another club. And I just don't want to see us missing out on something like that. And you're right, he probably does appeal to Pellegrini, but this goes back to where I say that Sullivan must be needing to get some money back. And he's probably thought, well, if you don't want to sell Antonio or this or that, Oxford's the next player that's worth a little bit of cash that you probably won't miss because you're not planning on using him that much in the first team next season, so you won't miss him. I can get 10 million for him. I just think it would be a big mistake to let Oxford go. I just don't see how you can be compared to, and even some people have said, better than Rio Ferdinand at that age, to go from that to not even good enough for a squad place in the space of 3 years. I don't believe it. I don't see it. It frustrates me. I know some people have got suspicions about his attitude, etc. But last season, all I seen was a guy trying to make it in Germany, going abroad, which is something English players don't do enough of. He went out to Germany and he was trying to make it. We interfered with his season. I don't
think there's his attitude. I really don't. I think you're right. I think that shows really good character to go to a foreign country and try and learn a new language. I think far too many English players, mind English players, far too many English people do that, go abroad, spend a bit of time abroad, learn new language and stuff like that. It's very comfortable, you know. English spoken all around the world. Yeah, Premier League's so good. There's almost no need to go and try different cultures, and I think that shows character. I think the problem with Reece is he's quiet. He's very, very quiet. Very softly spoken, very, very quiet. I wonder if that's construed as bad attitude sometimes. He's not talking, he doesn't really talk on the pitch. Maybe that's it.
Did you see the third kit got leaked? Did you have a look at it?
Well, something got leaked on it by the looks of it. It's just not nice. So is it? I'm not going to be buying one anyway. Look, and it is me, I say, with all paint all over me top, and I've just come straight in from work and jumped straight in the chair to do this, but I won't buy any of them anyway until they're reduced at the end of the season. I'll get some for the kids, but that's the kind of dad I am. But it was horrible. It was bloody horrible.
I don't mind it. Kits don't bother me. I've never hated a kit. I rarely think, oh yeah, it's a really nice one. They just don't bother me. We'll wear it a couple of cup games in Crystal Palace away as always. That's it. That's all we'll see. I think it'll look better in person. Always does. That picture that we saw is hanging on someone's coat hanger over in Bangkok or something. There's only so much you can take from that. Anyway, question time. Are you ready for questions?
I am.
For those on the YouTube live chat, put your questions just now. I'll start writing them down, and we'll be starting with the social media ones over on Twitter at @hammers_chat. Get involved with us next week if you wish. The first one is from Original James YD. He says, would you rather win the League Cup, FA Cup, or finish in the top 6?
Oh, yeah. Cups. Yes, please. Oh, I think I'll say every season. I think this is a year. Crikey, if you took the first photo of me saying I think this is a year, I'd have more hair and it wouldn't be grey and I'd be young, and like I say every year, I'm going to keep saying it. It's cup. I don't care about league finish as long as it's not terrible and near the bottom all season. I know Geo thinks the same.
What won the FA Cup, I assume?
Oh, right. Oh, it was a choice cup. Yeah, I'd rather have the FA Cup, but you will not hear me whinging if we win the League Cup and don't win the FA Cup. Oh, blimey, it'd be lovely.
Naturally, I wouldn't say the FA Cup, but I wonder if there's a psychology involved. You win the League Cup, bear in mind there's still 3 months of the season to go. I wonder if that would add 10 points to your season tally, just with confidence in your everything. And it also means we get to celebrate for 3 months, really. If we got beat by such and such, who cares? We won the League Cup. We're celebrating. When you're playing, I don't know, Brighton at home, we're celebrating because we won the League Cup 2 months ago. It doesn't matter what the score is, we're celebrating. So naturally, I wouldn't win the FA Cup. Why wouldn't you? Most famous cup competition in the world. It's something I'd love to see West Ham win. But psychology, I wonder if the League Cup would actually give you that little boost. But FA Cup for me. At Tomster36, Irish Tommy says, should we buy a defensive midfielder or should Declan Rice be given that role?
Hello, Tommy. I think I'd like to see Declan Rice given the role, personally. It all depends on money. We've seemed to spend a lot of money and we've not bought one, so maybe that's the earmark for the loan signing. It's pointless me saying we should buy one. I don't think we will. There's no more money left in the pot. That's why I laugh when I see us linked with other defenders for 25 million or this, that, and the other. That money's not there. That we're not going to do that. I don't mind Declan Rice playing there. I think we're going to have the ball far. It becomes less important in many respects as well, because when you only have 20% possession, your defensive midfield's got a lot to do. And it was too many times last season when I would look at West Ham and our stats would be, we would have had 27% possession, which means the other team has just got the ball so frequently that we're constantly firefighting. Obviously, we're hoping we're going to have the ball a lot. So whilst you need one there when the other team break and counter attacks, I would like to give Declan a go at doing it. And if we have to pay that price for bringing in as attacking players, so be it.
Yeah, it goes back to what I just said about Obi. I'm intrigued by that little thing. Rise, and to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Oxford giving a go there. I would start him in the League Cup, if anything. But we've also got Josh Cullen as well. Is he a defensive midfielder? Probably not. But I do wonder if Pellegrini might actually play 3 centre midfielders at some games. I think he's not. It's not something he's done that much. He's not really done a 4-3-2-1. But I do wonder if we might see that at West Ham. But we might have 3 more all-rounder midfielders rather than a defensive midfielder and a passing midfielder. I do wonder if we might see Wilshere, Noble, and Obiang in the middle, where it's like you've all got defensive duties. but you've all, use your heads a little bit. Don't all go forward at the same time, but one or two of you can, as long as the other one stayed back. That's an interesting trio to have in the middle of your pitch, etc. And it's also, if it was working longer term, I quite like Lanzini as a centre midfielder because I think he creates for a creative players. I always say. And I think that's something we've always lacked. Wilshere is probably the answer to that, but wait and see. Interestingly, none of us want to see Chiari there. At Graham Taylor 5 says, does Pellegrini have pictures of David Sullivan nude? Is that why he's able to get him anything he wants out of him?
Well, surely he would have gone blind if he'd have had those pictures. That's not an image you want to see. I mean, crikey, can you imagine? No. I mean, where would you even get those? Where would you even get those images from? I reckon. But I know what he's saying. Has he got him over a barrel? Which actually is another image you don't want, really, isn't it? So, no, it's easy. It's easy to think, isn't it, that he just seems to have been bewitched and under his spell. I think, and he's getting his own way. There is a man that is getting his own way, Pellegrini, and he seems to be doing it in a gentlemanly fashion as well. So good on him. And let's hear no more about David Sullivan in the nude, Graham.
At Mark 6925 says, if we start off badly due to adapting to a new style of play, will there be patience from fans?
There'll be patience from some fans and there won't be patience from other fans. We are, unfortunately, in this social media age, we are at each other's throats all the time as fans. There seemed to be a brief respite while the World Cup was on and World Cup finished and everyone was... Not everyone. I don't mean everyone, but there are certain elements to get on each other's throats. We're very tribal. We're football fans. We are tribal. We support this team, but even within our tribe, we have sort of little sub tribes, don't we? Who follow this website, and someone else follows that website, and someone does this and someone does that. So I think there'll be many, and the majority of fans I think will be understanding that it's going to take time to settle in, and that we've got a tough run. It's a tough start. Most fans will understand, but there will be. We've even got a couple on, listen, we've got a regular one on the forum who's come on the forum who's already predicting doom and gloom for Pellegrini. So it will happen. Unfortunately, people will say, I told you so, and it's all bad, and we were better off under Moyes, and all this sort of stuff. That's just the nature of football. Everyone has different opinions.
I think there will be a lot more patience for Pellegrini than any manager that we've seen in a long time at West Ham. In all honesty, I include myself in that a little bit. We've got 2 fixtures out of our first 3, if I'm not wrong, is Liverpool and Arsenal away. You've got to sort of take no points from that. I think, at the start of the season, I think you have to expect no points from those 2 games. We have to be fair to Pellegrini. What he's trying to do here isn't adjust stuff. He's trying to change stuff. There's a massive difference between the 2 things. He's not tweaking a system. He's overhauling it. He's going from a 5 at the back to 4 at the back. This is going to take time. This is without the new signings. Even if he was only working on last season's squad, it's still going to take time. We just have to have faith in it. And something, I can take defeats as long as I see the right intent from the manager. If we go to Liverpool and get beat 5-2, but we played good football, we have 15 shots at goal, I will not complain. I will praise Pellegrini for going to Anfield and having a go. I don't care about the fact we got beat. It's when we draw 0-0 and we have zero intention of winning the game. It's when we played Bournemouth at home last season, 1-1 with 10 minutes to go. Moyes brought on 2 defenders to get the point. That is the type of stuff I criticise because that is what I don't want to see. Anyway, mini rant over. At Frank WHUSC, would you take Lucas Perez on loan?
Lucas Perez?
Arsenal striker.
Oh, he got from Valencia, didn't they? I've not seen enough of him. He's been there a little.
He went to Deportivo, I think, last season on loan.
He went on. I've not seen enough of him. I think they may well have bought him from Valencia. But he don't have nothing. I think they bought him for 16 million or something like that 2 or 3 seasons ago. So he's done nothing there. No, I couldn't. No, I wouldn't want him at all. No, if that guy is better than an Arnautovic or Chicharito, then why has he not shown it? So no.
Interesting. I would. I don't think you can go wrong with it. It's a bit like the Welbeck one. Just because they're not good enough for Arsenal doesn't mean they're not good enough for West Ham. And we need a clever loan signing, someone that is happy to be sort of second or third choice at West Ham, but they've got the talent to be first choice if things go right. We need to find those couple of players that are low risk. He could be one of them. Curtin Hammer Darren says, how many goals do you think we'll score this season? He's predicting we're going to score over 60.
I don't know, but I tell you what, we didn't do badly goal scoring last season, did we? So, yeah, I would expect to better last season, whatever that was, whatever that is. Numbers, not me. I'm not your stats man. I don't know. I just want to score lots of goals. I want to attack lots and have lots of opportunities. And what Geo said earlier sounds very, very appealing, and I'd certainly agree on that. I won't be whinging as long as we go for it and play nice football and attack.
I'll take 60. That's just over 1.5 a game. I'll take that. 3 every 2 games. We can go with that. Hopefully, it'll be a bit more. At Alex_CVB says, what would you consider to be a successful season this year? Assuming we make no more signings and no big departures, what can we expect to achieve?
I think a successful season, what I want to see, I think, are 2 different things. I think if we were to finish 8th, I think that would be really successful, bearing in mind what's happened. What do I want to say? I want to see us go to a cup. And I hate it when people say, oh, to get to a final. You don't want to go to a final and lose. I want to win a cup. I really do. That's it for me. Same. You watch this show every season, go back all the years, you'll see we say the same thing. That's success for me.
Top 10 and cup. I'm happy. To be fair, I take 15th in a cup, to be honest with you. Simple as that. At Dilton D1. Hi, this is David here. Great show, by the way. Do you think with Pellegrini here, he may give Tony Martinez a chance?
Thank you, David. I don't think he will. No, I don't think he's going to get a chance at all, actually. I really don't. He might get a run out in pre-season, but I think I can pretty much nail my colours to the mast. Remind me of this show if that's not the case, but I don't think we'll be seeing Martinez in the Premier League under Pellegrini.
I don't think we'll see him in the Premier League at West Ham. I don't. It's good doing it at youth level, but we can rattle off names that have done it constantly at youth level at West Ham or another Premier League club. They just aren't good enough. He went on loan to the 2nd division in Spain. He didn't necessarily impress much over there, and that's alarming a little bit. But that David guy is naughty. See on Twitter, he constantly retweets porn. He's naughty.
Dilton.
Yes.
I know. I know he does, but he follows so I've got to be careful. But he follows famous people that work in that film genre, doesn't he? And he retweets stuff that they tweet.
He certainly promotes them on my timeline.
He does promote them. He does. Some may say he's a bit of a pimp.
Some may say that's why he likes you, Gonzo.
Listen, I don't pay any attention at all.
We now know why he likes the name Gonzo. Got that clear a couple of weeks ago. At the Real SB says, which kit from this coming season is your favourite, including the 3rd one?
Just the first one. The first one. But I do like the white training kit. Actually, the white training kit is probably my favourite one. But that's quite normal for me. I do like the training kits more than I like the kits themselves. I think what happens is they got the main guy at Umbro designs all the kits, and whoever the office junior is, they design the kit. Well, they need to give the office junior the main job, because whoever's doing that, they do a really good job. But out of the 3 kits, in answer to your question, that's the genuine SB, did you say, not the fake SB? It's the home kit, it's the carrot and blue one.
Yeah, the home one for me, as much as I say I don't like kits, but the home one for me as well. At C_O_Y_I says, is it unfair to give Pellegrini all of the credit for turning the club around? A lot of people seem to think that the manager is forcing these changes with his demands. Not the board's biggest fan myself, but they're suddenly putting a lot of saved money into the team.
Well, he's not turned the club around yet. We don't know. We just hope he has. So, I mean, let's save credit for when hopefully that the club is moved forward, but we've not played a game yet. We've just seen players coming in, and I would hasten to add, a lot of these players that are coming in, many of us have not ever seen play. So that is just a word of caution on that. Now, I hope Anderson becomes like Alexis Sanchez type player. Absolutely. I mean, I hope all of these players come off. I'm very, very hopeful that Jack Wilshere comes in, but we've not turned any corner. We've not turned the club around at all yet. If it does, then of course you have to praise the board for bringing in the players But there's lots of people that deserve praise. Geo has said before that the people that protested, they deserve praise for giving Sullivan a rocket out the bum. I've been very, very consistent on this. He doesn't start from scratch. Sullivan and Gold do not start from scratch. They mucked up. The move from Upton Park to Stratford was a failure, a complete and utter failure. Poorly handled, poorly promised, poorly delivered. And because of that, they start from way back. They start from 2 steps back. So, yes, let's hope that they've learned their lesson, and moving forward, they are now starting to be the owners that they promised us we would be in exchange for us leaving our spiritual home.
To give this guy's question a bit of credit, if you like, I know he's not turned the club around, but what he has done, he's changed the attitude of the club, Pellegrini. He's changed the belief, if you like, of the fan base. He's changed the way we're going about things, and I think Pellegrini does deserve credit for that. The board does as well to an extent, but as you said, they started on minus credits this summer. They're now up to -1, if you like. But this guy, unfortunately, answers his own question at the very end when he says suddenly putting a lot of saved money into the team. That's the thing, though. It's saved money. It's underinvestment from the last 4 windows, which means we can now overinvest in this one. Instead of investing sufficiently for 5 windows in a row, we've done it badly for 4, and now we're having one great big one. But that's just law of averages. You know, if I went grocery shopping and spent half my budget for 3 weeks, then went in the 4th week and spent like 3 times as much as normal, I wouldn't expect to come home but wow, look at all the shopping I bought. Well, obviously, but you've been without food for the last 3 weeks, you know, like you've been starving because you've been saving all this cash. So that's why they've got all this money to spend. They haven't, listen, if they'd spent £60 million last summer, 30 in the January transfer window, this summer 100, I'd be thinking, wow, where are they getting all this money for? They're really going for, but they're not. They haven't done that. They're simply spending last summer's money and this summer's money in one window because they didn't do it a year ago. So credit for now to both of them, Pellegrini and the board, but there's a long way to go. And as you said, there's still a long way to transfer window to go, but the season hasn't kicked off yet. But anyway, that's it from the Twitter questions. Moving on to the YouTube question, Graham Morris, and this is an interesting question. It's almost a forgotten man, this. Does Fernandez have a future?
Fernandez. It doesn't. No, I don't think so. I don't think he does. Now, well, yeah, this is a different question. Do I want him to? Do you want him to? That's a different question. Does he have a future? Is different. So where do we fix it? I just don't think he does. I don't think he does. I've got a hunch. Having seen the first 2 games, having seen him, having seen the groups of players training together, I don't think so. No.
I think he does. I think he's a tidy little footballer. I think he was the biggest victim of David Moyes last season at the end. But when he did get a run, the amount of tasks he had to do when he was on the pitch was just ridiculous, to be honest. I felt really sorry for him. I remember doing the reviews with you, and I remember ranting about it because I felt really sorry for him. The amount of jobs he had to do on the pitch, and while there was more senior players like Noble with a disciplined role, he seemed to have right wing, right mid, attacking mid, right wing back. He had all these things to do. And I just thought, how is this guy meant to learn? How's he supposed to impress when you're literally giving him that to do? He needs a clean slate under Pellegrini. And I'm intrigued by Fernandez. He's certainly, I like what I've seen of him in the past. I think he's got something. His make or break, though, because he's now at that funny age, isn't he, where he's like, a little too old to happily take just 10 appearances a season, but he's too young to sort of command 30 appearances a season. He's in that little grey area. A bit like Josh Cullen is. They're in that little spot now where it's make or break. And it just depends on the player what they consider to be making it or breaking it for them. At Victor, we get this all the time, but to be fair to, I wasn't going to ask it, but to be fair to Victor, we've signed players since I last asked it. You can probably guess what's coming.
Yeah, how worried on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah.
No, that's Sam. That's Sam.
Sorry, Sam. Victor. Sorry.
Victor saying, would you use Noble?
Yeah. We both said when Pellegrini came in, we think that Noble would appeal to Pellegrini, and I don't see nothing to convince me otherwise. He seemed to be a big part. They were deep in conversation on several occasions during the warm up, during half time. I think he was playing some long rating balls. I think he'll like Noble. I think Noble will like him. And as I've always said, Noble has seen off He's done this so many times. He's seen new managers come in and impress them. He's old at. He's as experienced as anyone at doing it.
Yeah, I think Noble's must be looking forward to playing under Pellegrini. He must be thinking, thank God I finally got a manager who's going to encourage players to come get the ball off me, who's going to encourage the centre backs to pass to me. He should succeed under Pellegrini. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Though I just wish Pellegrini rocked up in Mark Noble's career 5 years ago or something, and then he might have been at the World Cup this summer. If he had a proper manager working with him, I do wonder how good Noble could have been. I think he's been someone that's suffered at having managers which just hoof it, if you like, etc. But he's even if he doesn't start every week, he's got one of the most important roles next season, Noble. And do you know something? I reckon come the end of May, this will be my wild prediction. Come the end of May, I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if Noble is mentioned by a few people in the running for Hammer of the Year. It was the same last year when we all sat down to do Hammer of the Year. He was sort of everybody's second or third choice a bit. But it's been like that for the last few years. If it wasn't for Dimitri Payet, I think he would have won it at the last year at Upton Park as well. Year after year, he's been consistently good, and I don't see why he wouldn't be next year. Just don't get it. Scott, what does the director of football do when the transfer window is shut?
I guess it earmarks players for January. But like I said earlier, if you were here at the start of the show, I said you should never be surprised when somebody comes in and buys your player. You should always have 5 different players for each position. Where if you think I'm going to lose this player, I'm going to lose this player. Here is a list of players to take that position. It doesn't start and finish with the people that are in your squad. You've always got to be prepared. So listen, if we've got to have a list of 4 or 5 for each position, that's plenty of scouting to be doing. There'll be plenty to do.
Yeah, he's got to get ready for January. He's got to be getting ready for January. He's got to be saying to Pellegrini, where do you think you might need reinforcements in January? Pellegrini, going into this season, Pellegrini will know who he thinks might let him down. Pellegrini might be thinking, I'm not sure on him, etc. And that's who you've got to start getting ready to replace in January. And that's what he's got to be doing. The same with a year's time. He's got to be looking probably for some younger players across Europe for next summer when you do get a big budget again. Who are you going to go after? Who are you going to replace? We're going to need a right back. Zabaleta's contract's up at the end of the season. He needs replaced. Andy Carroll's contract's up at the end of the next season. He needs replaced. He's got to start thinking about who's replacing these, etc., etc. That director of football is a busy guy. It'd be interesting to see if he handles transfer contract renewals and stuff. I assume he doesn't because he's not been mentioned in terms of the Declan Rice contract renewals. But he was, when he arrived, the club quite happily he was responsible for bringing the youngsters into the first team. Now it's his duty. So by that theory, he should really be the one in charge of the contracts a little bit. But we'll wait and see. 337 Hammer says, would you sell Martinez? We've just dismissed Tony Martinez. Would you flog him or would you keep him for a little bit longer?
I don't care. I honestly couldn't care less. I don't think you get much money from him if you sold him anyway. I'm totally indifferent to it, to be honest.
Doesn't bother me too much either. Davey, Declan Rice, it's come out that he's rejected the second contract. It's the rumours anyway. Are you concerned yet, or are you still quite calm? I mean, some of the talk is that if a deal can't be done this summer, they're just going to leave it until the turn of the new year. Now, that for me is risky. You cannot do that. This needs to be done before the season kicks off for me.
I would agree. I mean, I don't know, but as I understand it, what's he got? 4 years left?
Yeah.
Am I worried? No, I'm not worried because he's got 4 years left. If the most thing I'm worried about is where does he stand in Pellegrini's thinking. So how many games are you going to play under Pellegrini? So that's my thing. If he plays the same or more, which is what I would hope would happen, then he deserves his pay rise. He certainly deserves his pay rise, and I would give him one now because he broke into the team. I just think they should put him on a ratcheted system where it goes up every year. You know, so we're at the end of if he signs a new 5-year contract, at the end of his contract, he's on 70, 80 grand or something like that, you know, but the first year's 30, the next 40, 50, something like that. That's what they should do. Whether his agent will accept that, whether Declan himself will accept that is another matter, but you can't just walk away. In fact, you can't even walk away on a free. if you're under 23 anyway. So I'm not worried about it. But I hope he wants to play for West Ham. I really hope he does. I think he knows the fans love him. And the thing is, you said it yourself earlier, we're not Manchester United. We're in that group just underneath. And that group underneath is where he gets games. He doesn't go to Man City and get into the football team. That just doesn't happen. It certainly won't happen under Jose Mourinho. Is he going to walk in to get into that Liverpool team? No, he won't. I mean, look, they're spending money now, it seems, as well. So West Ham is the right place for him. They just, his agent, him, and the club need to find some common ground.
I think it's a priority now. I think it's, I wouldn't say more priority than bringing in a new player, but it's up there now. We've done our buy-in. Now let's get Declan Rice tied down. He's probably the only player that needs a new contract this summer. I know we spoke about it now, but Charlie, we both agreed he shouldn't get one. But Rice is probably the one player that should get one. So I'd like to think it needs to be done. The last thing you want is going into the last 2 weeks of a transfer window with a possible unhappy Declan Rice sitting there, and then you just never know. I wouldn't want to risk it. And this is where the board, you said about it should be like one step back for the board. I think not giving Declan Rice a new deal would be one step with the fan base, because Declan Rice is one of the most popular players on social media with the West Ham fans, and this is the type of thing that would get their back up very quickly, and people would look at Sullivan and say, "You've not changed, really, have you? This is just a David Sullivan thing. You've not changed." And I just struggle to see, if we're chucking all this money around, why we aren't agreeing to Declan's contract, which I am guessing is what, 15 grand a week extra. It's not that much in the grand scheme.
Well, we don't know what he's asking for. I mean, what we do know is the club don't get on with his agent. He just signed up with a new agent. I can't remember his, but it's somebody that the club don't get on with, or whatever. So I say the club, Sullivan doesn't get on with the agent. Yeah. So that may well be the sticking point. Not sure.
Ray, to be this, I knew this was coming, because in the live chat during the show, Gonzo have been taking virtual bets almost on how long it's going to be till I mention Danny Ings. I have been trying not to mention Danny Ings. So just to make me mention Danny Ings, Ray has asked the question, Danny Welbeck or Danny Ings?
Well, you've got to go for the best Danny. So we welcome Danny Welbeck.
You what? That's the wrong answer. Are you joking? You're just winding me up, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, mind you. I do not. Listen, I can't be asked answering any more questions on Danny Ings. Surely, we all know Geo's man crush on Danny Ings. If he would give his last Malteser to anyone, it would be Danny Ings.
Lie that. Well, that's definitely bollocks anyway, because that's not happening. But no, Danny Ings for me as well. Rick says, are you concerned that we could do an Everton where last summer they signed too many players?
No, Rick, I wouldn't focus on the negatives, mate. I don't think so. You're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. In that case, we needed some new players, and we needed a few of them. He's done that, and I think if he can keep the spine of the team from last season, and so players like Noble, are going to be important. At players like Rice, Ogbonna, Cresswell in there, Arnautovic, obviously. If you can keep a mainstay of the team and introduce some new bits to it, no, I'm not concerned. We needed to do it. I'd be more concerned if we didn't bring 4 or 5 players, and we knew we needed to do that.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered either. It's 7 players, but Balbuena's not a starter, so that's 6 players. Fredericks, he might start. The difference with Everton is Everton brought in too many players for the same position. They bought attacking midfielders. We'll have Rooney, we'll have Sigurdsson. They brought in all the attacking midfielders and forgotten to buy a striker. We've not done that. Our 7 signings are spread out across the team. We've got a goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, a right-back, a centre midfielder, 2 attacking midfielders. We've done it right. Our signings are spread out across the team. They're not all going into the first 11. It's completely different to Everton last summer, in my opinion. And also, they spent big money on gambles. You could say that about us if you like. I just think our spend has been done a little bit wise. I think we've got better value for money than Everton did perhaps a year ago. Gary says, what do you think about the new carpet going around the pitch?
What can you say? You can't polish a turd, Gary, but you can roll it in glitter, mate. But no, it's I didn't like the green, but I would like it if they're going to put a. I'm a bit. One thing worries me about the claret one is what's claret. You know, what's a running track? A running track is a sort of reddish brown. We've gone to all this effort to try and cover up the running track, and we might be replacing it with a carpet that is of a similar colour to a running track. So that would be my only thing. Who are we trying to kid? Who are we trying to kid? Everyone knows what's under the carpet. Aesthetically, does it look better? I don't know. I don't know. I just hope they sort out what's on the pitch. I just don't think you're kidding anyone by putting something over the running track.
The only way I'm glad it's getting replaced is because last year some of the players were saying it confuses them and stuff. I still struggle to see how that's possible though, because every football pitch has got an extra yard of grass after the touchline anyway. You know where the linesmen and stuff go. So I don't see how that green thing actually makes them think it's the football pitch, because there's usually a bit of grass anyway. Even if it was cloudy, there'd still be a yard of grass at least for the. You look at Wembley; they've got a good 2 yards of grass after the touchline. So I don't personally believe, and I find it convenient. The only player complaining about it was James Collins, the one player who probably kept booting it long and out, playing them. Convenient excuse for going there, James. And you're the only one that seems fussed by it, but. It doesn't bother me at all. It's supposed to be not claret. I think the London Stadium said they're changing it, but not necessarily to claret. I think it's going to be blue. You get a feeling it's going to be blue to fit with the London Stadium branding. And then some people might have an issue because they'll be like, Millwall blue?
Yeah, well, in Millwall's dreams, would they be playing in the Premier League and in a bloody stadium that was whatever 57,000 or whatever it is? So I don't think we've got to worry too much about being confused with Millwall. Certainly, beggars can't be choosers. At the end of the day, we want a new covering that's not green. We don't pay very much. We pay a peppercorn rent for the stadium. The stadium owners are getting skint. Who knows? Apparently, we're going to pay for it anyway. But minor issues, sideshow issues, which were a problem last season because the team was so crap. I'm hoping we're not even worried about stuff like that. Do you know what? First game at Bournemouth, hopefully we will be so high on the success of the team and drunk on the beer, drunk on the boats that we won't even notice what colour the carpet is.
Chris says, would you pay off Andy Carroll if you could pay him off for 65% of his contract? He's got 1 year left, if that helps.
I think anything where you can make a saving, you probably should. If you're not going to make a saving, don't pay him off. There's no point. You might come back. He might be fit for 3 months and you might get 4 or 5 goals out of him. So that would be. But if there was a saving, and if you could find out actually you could save £1.5 million by paying him off, I think that would be the right thing to do.
I wouldn't pay him off for the reason you just said. What's the point? He's only got. If he had a long-term deal, you'd maybe think about it. But you know, when he comes back, he's only here till May now, so you might as well get that 3 months out of him. And when he does come back, that guy is fighting for a new contract. Maybe not West Ham, but he's fighting for his contract somewhere else. Everybody will be looking at him as the most injury-prone striker in the Premier League. He's got to come back and prove that he is not that person, which is going to be difficult. But he will have all the motivation under the sun you need to get the best out of him. You just never know what our circumstances are. Would you like to pay him off and then, I doubt we'll be in a relegation battle, but let's say Pellegrini falls out with Sullivan, buggers off, and we're in a relegation battle, and we're all thinking, oh, if only we had Andy Carroll's now fit as he wants, signed to Southampton, battering centre-backs week in, week out, and we're struggling at the bottom without a goal scorer. I just wouldn't take the risk. I would keep him. Armo says, would you take Butland, or there's another name here, which I have carefully written it down. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Jahabashk or something. I don't know. I assume this is a keeper.
Well, I know Butland, obviously. Yeah, of course we'd take him. We can't afford him. But yeah, absolutely. I thought before the World Cup, I thought he was the best English goalkeeper. Pickford had an outstanding World Cup, so probably not the case at the moment. But yeah, why would we not take Jack Butland? Of course. The other one, sorry, I don't know.
Because he's too expensive. We don't have the money, do we? So it's hypothetical, I suppose. If we had 25 million spare, then of course, but we don't, do we? So no. Final question is from Darren. Any chance Pellegrini doesn't trust Ogbonna? He has sporadically been linked with Italy, and we're still being linked with centre back. So do you think that is possible?
I think the mistrust, you've got to work with someone. I think you've got to earn. I think you've got to earn trust. You also got to earn mistrust. Was very vocal. Angelo was very, very vocal against Wickham. Him and Diop, he was doing a lot of talking. And he pigeon English though, but he was very vocal. I was quite impressed actually. No, I don't think that. I don't think he's done anything to earn Pellegrini's mistrust yet. How can he? If everyone starts with a clean sheet, then really he's done nothing wrong, has he? So no, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. He's probably the one player Pellegrini should be trusting. If you used to look at last season and think about which 5 can I bring in, Ogbonna should be on that list if you like. He's got to be the main defender next season, I think, because his left back's a bit ropey. Crespo or Masuaku, you can have your toss up. Everyone's got a different opinion on that, but so he's got a left back that's not the first choice left back next to him. On the other side of him, he's going to have someone inexperienced, whether it's Rice, age, or Diop, age and league. He's probably going to have someone inexperienced next to him. He might have a new keeper behind him in Fabianski as well. He's then at the other side of his other centre back. He might have a right back who's never played in Premier League before. Ogbonna's going to be a bloody busy boy in that back 4 next season. He's almost going to have to be the unofficial vice captain of the team, if you like. That was a question from someone. I somehow don't have it, but someone said, "Who would you make captain next season when Noble's not on the pitch?" Because as you know, Winston Reid is the official vice captain. Well, he's buggered. So there's a armband up for grabs, if you like. But before I do that, and that Yaka Bashk or whatever, people are saying it's a top goal scoring winger in the Dutch league, which explains why I don't know him because I don't watch the Dutch league. But anyway, vice captain.
Well, it would be pending the contract that we discussed earlier. So getting the contract, you make Declan Rice the vice captain.
No. I knew you were going to say this. No.
Well, you knew I was going to say it because it's right.
No, it's not right. He's too young. He's not
too young. Diop was captain. I saw Will Carlin be captain at 20, England, the national team. Tony Adams was Arsenal's best captain. Was captain at 20. No. If you've got leadership qualities, you've got leadership qualities. Who else is noisy enough to take that on? You can't say Zabaleta because if Noble's off the pitch, highly likely Zabaleta's going to be off the pitch.
Possibly, but no. Rice will be West Ham captain one day. I just think it's far too much pressure to be placed on a 19-year-old kid's shoulders. Way too much. I just think he needs to be learning right now how to play his game, not learning about how to control Marko Arnautovic when he's running loose up front at the same time. I just don't. One day for sure. Today, no. Who would I make it? Zabaleta would be a contender. We don't really have much leaders, to be honest with you. I don't think there's no one really that jumps out at me. Arnautovic, but I wouldn't necessarily describe him as a leader. If anything, he would scare me a bit like Winston Reid did. Whenever Reid got one, I used to think he lost his head. Reid, whenever he was captain, he just seemed to be a bit.
Well, we got three talkers. I said Ogbonna is vocal. He impressed me because he's more vocal than I thought he was. We got Noble, we got Rice, and we got Zabaleta. Are your 3 vocal players?
Well, to be Cross Hammers, Nick in the live chat saying Adrian as well, which obviously depends.
Yes.
So that's an outside shout. But Zabaleta would probably have to do it for me by default, but I'm not convinced he's going to be starting against Liverpool. The vice captain is definitely up for grabs, which is an interesting thing to be going into the start of your season with, I think.
I think it's a non-job. Can I just say that as somebody that watches a lot of cricket, where actually the captain makes tactical decisions and does an awful lot. I do think the vice captain in football is a bit of a non-job. I think if ever there's any time break or play, then you get your instruction from the sidelines in a way that you just don't in cricket. So I don't think it's.
I disagree with that because it's the captain's biggest job for me is not just organising the pitch, but it's handling the referee. The referee. We played I remember this. This will be the last thing this will be said. Don't worry. But Newcastle away in August last season, I remember it. I'm sure it was Hernandez. He was on a booking, and he's the most stupid tackle ever to start the second half. should have been a yellow card all day long. The referee started walking, and as soon as the referee started walking, Noble sprinted. He absolutely, I've never seen Noble move so fast. He bombed it about 15 yards to catch the referee before he could get anywhere near Hernandez, put his arm around the referee, and started walking and talking, and you could see Noble saying to Hernandez, you come here, I'll have a word with you. And I genuinely believe Noble probably talked Hernandez out of getting sent off that day. And that is what a vice captain has to do when Noble's not on the pitch. It's a very difficult skill to do. It's very, very difficult. And this goes back to Howard Webb's autobiography, which I read not long ago. And in it, he said when they went to these training days, they often had to write down the 5 captains they like the most in the Premier League and 5 captains they hate the most in the Premier League. And he used to find it amusing that the same 5 used to come up quite a lot, but some referees used to love them and the other referees used to hate them. And Howard Webb liked Mark Noble, and he named a few other ones, but Joey Barton was one of the ones he named as well. But he liked Mark Noble, but he said quite a lot of Premier League referees didn't like the ones that he used to like. And it just makes you think that it's all about the captain learning the personality of the referee, and sometimes it works. And that's why I think vice captain is a big deal, and that's why I wouldn't give it to Declan Rice yet. He will be captain of West Ham United one day. He's 19 now. Let him learn his football without the armband on his arm, in my opinion. But anyway, Gonzo, we've gone well over our time tonight. We normally do an hour. We've gone right over. But you were late, so it's been hard to track the time because I didn't know what time we started. But is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I am all done. I've not even had a shower. I'm disgusted. I'm going to go and have a shower and then eat my Galaxy. Yeah,
well, I'm all out of Maltesers, and we're all out of the show as well. If you want a boat season ticket, email us hammerschat@gmail.com. The link is in the description below. Say goodbye, Gonzo.
Goodbye, Gonzo.
And it's goodbye from me. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. And if you're on iTunes, make sure you subscribe to the feed on there as well. And we'll see you in a bit.